to our Arapahoe County Town Hall. Earlier this month, we welcomed 2 new commissioners and a new treasurer to the county and held a swearing-in ceremony for them, along with Assessor Kaiser, Clerk and Recorder Lopez, Coroner Dr. Lear, and Sheriff Brown. Tonight, we'd like to give each of our elected officials a few moments to introduce themselves and provide news updates from their offices and around the county. We also have some time to answer your questions, and there's a few ways you can participate if you'd like to ask a question. If you're participating on the phone, please press *3. You'll be directed to an operator who will take down some information and get you in the queue. If you're participating online, you can enter your question on the website. And if you're listening and participating on Facebook, you can send us a comment. Throughout the evening, we'll also ask a few poll questions to learn more about your priorities, and we'll share the results of those questions as well. So now let's start with the chair of the Arapahoe County Board of Commissioners, Carrie Warren Gully. Good evening, Commissioner.
Well, good evening, and welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here to join us. I'm Carrie Warren Gully, and I'm the chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and I represent District 1. I am so thrilled to join our 4 fellow commissioners as well as many of our county-wide elected officials. This is our very first telephone town hall of 2023, and I'll start by wishing all of you on the line with us this evening a very happy new year. Tonight is really going to be a great opportunity to talk about the issues facing Arapahoe County in the upcoming months and really the upcoming years, and to answer some of your questions as well. Our goal is to make Arapahoe County the #1 place to live, work, and raise a family. And to reach that goal, we know there is a long list of issues that we really need to address, from public safety to homelessness to road maintenance and mental health. So what are your biggest concerns and questions? We really do want to hear from you this evening. So we are going to be asking a few poll questions during the call, and we hope that you'll participate. Tonight we'll mainly talk about the issues, what the county is doing, and more. So stay tuned and let's dive in. But first, let's ask our first poll question. Roger?
You bet, Commissioner. Thank you. And again, as a reminder, if you're on the phone, *3 to get in the queue. Here's that first question. What does the county do well? Pick one answer from the following list. Press 1 for manage the budget. Press 2 for roads. Press 3 for public safety. Press 4 for trails and open space. And press 5 for addressing mental health. Again, 1 for managing the budget, 2 for roads, 3 for public safety, 4 for trails and open space, and 5 for addressing mental health. And while you're voting, I'll remind you how you can participate if you have a question. If you're on the phone, press *3. You'll be directed to talk to an operator, and she'll get you in the queue. If you're online, you can enter your question on the website, and if you're participating and listening on Facebook, you can send us a comment. Here are the results of that first poll. Again, we asked what you think the county does well. 46% of you said trails and open space. 19% said public safety. 18% said managing the budget. 10% said roads. And 7% said addressing mental health. Thank you for participating. And we'll send it back over to Commissioner Warren Gully. Go ahead.
Great, thank you, and thanks to all of you for participating in the poll. It sounds like many of you enjoy our trails and open space as much as us on the call do. So thank you for your responses, but now I'd really like to jump into our agenda tonight and to meet some of our elected officials who are here with us this evening. As I said, we're very excited about the addition of 2 new commissioners to our Board of County Commissioners. And I'd like to start with Commissioner Jessica Campbell-Swanson, who is newly elected to District 2.
Thank you, Commissioner Warren Gully. It is an honor to serve with you, and thank you for giving me the floor to introduce myself. So hello, Arapahoe County residents. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know there's a lot on y'all's plates, and so for you all to prioritize taking time to hear what we're doing, it means a lot, and hope you get some really great information out of this call. So I am your commissioner representing most of Centennial, Greenwood Village, and some of Aurora around Quincy Reservoir. To dig into a huge priority for me is, and I've got many, but I'll keep it to a few, but a huge one for me is how we address our expected growth. We are projected to grow from 655,000 residents now to 875 residents by 2040. And our county has done an incredible job of managing our funds, using them wisely and efficiently, but our growth and increasing needs are creating fiscal challenges. So to tackle that as one of my chief priorities, I will be serving on our executive budget committee and as well as our liaison from the Board of County Commissioners to Public Works and Development and the Finance Departments. Other quick priorities for me are addressing the cost of living, especially focused around housing, addressing our mental health needs, and we'll be looking to serve on some boards or commissions to tackle that, as well as addressing resident concerns. And I know that already brought to me as a chief concern in my district is an issue with the sequencing and landing patterns at the Centennial City Airport. And to help effectuate change and represent my residents there, I will be serving on the board, the Airport Authority Board. So I was honored to take office with another new commissioner, Leslie Summey, who hails from District 4. Leslie Summey, I toss it over to you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Commissioner Campbell-Swanson. Good evening, everybody. I am Commissioner Leslie Summey, proudly serving District 4, and our boundaries are roughly from South Parker Road to Bellevue to Buckley to Mississippi. So if you live in between those roads, welcome, and I look forward to growing with you over the next 4 years. As a veteran of the U.S. Navy and a retired Army spouse and a mother of 5, there are many, many things that are important to me in being a county commissioner. But just to put it really succinctly, because I know we have so many people on the line who need to talk, the things that are important to me are making sure that we have what we need to have our families grow and be happy in their communities. So we need to have the food on the table. We need to know that we are taking care of our unhoused. We need to work with our veterans to make sure that they have what they need. We need our children to be able to go outside and play and have the things that they need to grow into amazing adults. And all of that, I do believe, comes back to how the county works its business. And one of those things that I'm really looking forward to is seeing how we as Arapahoe County can do one of the things that most of our counties in the state have done, and that is to bring in more revenue sources. If we had more revenue sources, a greater revenue stream in our county, we would be able to do more to help our residents. And so that's what's important to me. People are important to me. You are important to me. And I'm so grateful that you all are joining us this evening and look forward to the work that we have just begun this year. And so now I think I am passing it on to Commissioner Jeff Baker.
Thank you, Commissioner Summey. I appreciate it, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Baker, and I represent District 3, which is the eastern part of the county. My district is just really basically anything east of E470, and it includes the towns and the areas of Watkins, Bennett, Beyer, Strasburg, and Deer Trail. And so if you live out in the eastern part of the county, welcome, and I'll listen for any of questions that you have for me about that. I have a couple of different priorities. Everything that we're going to be talking about tonight, in fact, our poll that's coming up has a lot of questions about very important issues facing Arapahoe County. I have to say that mine, number one priority is transportation, our roads and bridges. And what am I doing about that? Well, I do serve representing Arapahoe County on the Denver Regional Council of Governments. That gives me an opportunity to help try and bring some of our federal tax dollars that our citizens pay to the federal government back to Colorado and back to Arapahoe County in order to make improvements to our roads and our bridges. Another one of my priorities is the upcoming transition of the 18th Judicial District, which currently serves 4 counties, Arapahoe, Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln, and will in 2025 transition to have the 23rd Judicial District serving Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln. We will remain the 18th Judicial District, a single county judicial district, and so I'm very involved in how that's set up so that the 18th Judicial District can make this transition. We can have the employees that stay with the 18th Judicial District transition into the Arapahoe County system and be welcomed into our county family. So those are my 2 priorities. I'm now going to introduce, well, he does, as a man who needs no introduction, I'm going to toss it over to Commissioner Holman.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy schedules to spend some time with us to give us the opportunity to express your concerns about the quality of life in Arapahoe County. This is my last term as county commissioner. I have 2 more years to serve, and then I'm going to have to depart the scene. However, my priorities will continue to be the same. That is to improve and enhance the business development opportunities that provide fantastic jobs at a livable wage to our constituents. I'm very committed to ensuring that our military veterans and their families are taken care of, both through federal and state funding opportunities. We work very hard to establish a veteran service office in Aurora to service those veterans who are in need of compensation and medical care, education care, and adequate housing. Finally, I want to mention one of the issues that the county is really taking seriously. We started a survey to look at the water needs for the next decade. Clearly, water availability is going to be a key issue in terms of maintaining and establishing the growth that will come through business and economic development. We want to make sure that we have adequate water supplies to provide those resources and ensure that we don't neglect to have available those resources. Another issue is that I'm very concerned about is energy, is the energy production within the county. We're working very hard to develop alternative energy sources so that our dependency on fossil fuel will be diminished. The county has embarked on a program to establish a very strong energy conservation program in terms of reducing our dependency on electrical energy, seeking and establishing alternative energy sources, as well as beginning to expand and test our transportation needs in the county by providing a program to establish electric vehicles for our transportation needs as a county. Thank you very much. My district is from Colfax to the District 1, from Colfax to Mississippi, to the Denver border, and then also all the way around Buckley Air Force Base, which is a very strong economic generator for the county. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. As a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question and you're on the phone, press *3. If you are participating online, you can enter your question below the viewer. And if you're on Facebook, send us a comment. Commissioner Warren Gully, back to you.
Great, Roger. Thank you so much. And actually, thank you to the commissioners for sharing their priorities. As you can tell, we have a lot of work ahead of us this year and well into the future. So as a reminder, we're going to hear from our other elected officials in a moment. These are our county-wide elected officials. Please know that we do this work because of you, and we want to hear from you. So if you have questions or if you want to share your priority for the county, please press *3 on your phone, and one of our operators will get you in line. Roger, I think this is a good time for maybe another poll.
All right, let's do it again. If you're on the phone, just press the keypad for the number of your response, and you can also vote if you're participating online. Here's that question. What is the most important issue facing Arapahoe County? Pick one of the following. Press 1 for homelessness and affordable housing. Press 2 for crime. Press 3 for roads. Press 4 for mental health. Or press 5 for growth. So 1, homelessness, affordable housing. 2, crime. 3, roads. 4, mental health. And 5, growth. And while you're voting, just again, a quick reminder, *3 on your phone if you'd like to ask a question. We'll be getting to those questions shortly, so get in line early, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. Here are the results of that second polling question. Again, we asked, what is the most important issue facing Arapahoe County? 37% said crime, 26% said homelessness and affordable housing, 15% of you said roads, 12% said growth, and 10% said mental health. Commissioner Warren Gully, what are your thoughts about those results?
Well, it absolutely lines up with some of the questions that we see coming up in the queue, and so I think you're going to be hearing a lot around some of these issues, and we do really appreciate everybody for participating in them because it gives us insight into the needs of our community and what our residents are thinking. So now I'd really like to take a few moments to meet our county-wide leadership. We have an excellent group of elected officials, and some of you have listed public safety as a top priority. So let's meet the man in charge of keeping us safe, Sheriff Tyler Brown.
Thank you, Commissioner Warren Gully, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our first town hall of the year, and Happy New Year to everybody. So again, I'm Sheriff Tyler Brown. I'm starting my second term as the Sheriff of Arapahoe County, and it's definitely an honor to be able to serve all the citizens of Arapahoe County when it comes to providing law enforcement services for all of you. You know, the priorities in our agency is to maintain the highest level of professionalism when it comes to providing these services. We're the only agency in the country to attain Triple Crown accreditation, which is accreditation in our law enforcement services that we provide to the community, our dispatch center, our jail services, and our medical policies and procedures inside of the detention facility. And we've done that under 4 different sheriffs. And again, we're the only ones that have attained that under 4 different sheriffs. You know, my priorities is to make sure that Arapahoe County is the safest place to live, work, and raise your family. I think that is very important. We want to make sure that we are responsive to the community's needs and making sure that we are providing that safe community. And we definitely look forward to trying new things. You know, one of the new things that we tried in the new year or at the end of last year was a therapy dog program in conjunction with 2 of the school districts that we serve, and we're getting ready to start that program in 2 other school districts that we serve as well. And I'm excited for that opportunity for our SROs. The key responsibilities that our office has is to provide law enforcement services for all of the unincorporated parts of Arapahoe County and to include our contract cities, which are the city of Centennial, the city of Foxfield. We provide law enforcement services in Bennett, the Arapahoe County portion of Bennett, Byers, and Deer Trail. And we run the detention facility for the rest of the municipalities inside of Arapahoe County. The capacity of our detention facility is 1,458 beds. Our average daily population right now is around 900 individuals in custody. and we provide a multitude of services for those individuals who are in custody. Our detention facility is older, and we are trying to do the best that we possibly can with the aging facility that we have, and I'm sure there will be more discussion on that in the near future. So I look forward to hearing your questions and fielding some of the questions that have come in, and I look forward to connecting with a lot of community members as we move forward. The next speaker that we have is our clerk and recorder, and so I would like to toss it over to Clerk Joan Lopez. Clerk, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sheriff Brown. Hi, everyone. I'm Joan Lopez, your clerk and recorder. I was reelected in November for a second term, and I'm so proud to continue to serve Arapahoe County. My team and I are looking forward to serve our voters and customers. The clerk's office has 3 departments. We handle elections, recording, and motor vehicles. I'm excited to tell you that in a few more months, our recording division will have all county records digitized and available to the public online. We also revamped our training program for new hires in our motor vehicle division, and of course, we'll be working with many of the cities and towns in the county for the 2023 coordinated election in November. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to serve, and on to our county coordinator, Dr. Lear, Kelly Lear.
Thank you, Joan. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Lear. I'm the Arapahoe County coroner and forensic pathologist. I've been with the county for about 20 years. My office does a lot of things behind the scene. Hopefully we touch very few of our residents, but we care very much about the people that we do touch. The key responsibilities for my office are to investigate sudden and unexpected deaths that occur within the county, and to determine the cause and the manner of death. That's the how and the why somebody dies. And that includes performing autopsy examinations when indicated. We provide information for the families that we serve, and also provide that information to multiple investigating agencies, public health, and other partners. And my office does extensive outreach and education for a variety of community groups, schools, and other agencies. Excuse me. My priorities for the office include continuing to provide that highest quality death investigation to our residents. We are one of only 4 offices, coroner's offices in the state, and only approximately 80 nationwide, which is nationally accredited, and that is something that we are proud of and reflects our commitment to really doing the best that we can for our community. We will continue to promote medically based information and education to our families and to community members and partner agencies, and continue to address the changing environment and public health concerns. We do that through medical surveillance and data collection and other prevention efforts surrounding a multitude of issues which we've seen recently, including the fentanyl epidemic, COVID pandemic, and other infectious diseases that hit our community, and the increasing suicide rates. That's kind of the summary for my office. I think next we are going to hear from our newly elected Treasurer Westerberg.
All right, I think we're back to, I don't think the treasurer is with us, correct? So let's move on and go back to Commissioner Warren Gully. Go ahead.
What a really impressive group of elected officials. And we're so excited to be working as a team, serving our community and our county. And again, we do appreciate that you are here from us, and we want to hear from you. So here's a reminder of how to ask questions and to participate. Can you guide us in that, Roger?
Absolutely. If you're participating on the phone, you just need to press *3. you'll be transferred to an operator who will take down some information. You can also submit your question online below the viewer or as a comment on Facebook. And we're going to get to those questions very quickly, but first we're going to circle back to Assessor Kaiser. I think we missed you on the script. Assessor, would you like to introduce yourself and talk for a couple minutes?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. This is P.K. Kaiser, and you elected me for another 4 terms. Thank you so much. It's the honor of my life to serve you. As my top produce assessment of property in a fair, transparent, accountable manner. For next 2 years, your notice value will be with you by end of April. And if you feel there is any error, needed, or you want to appeal, please. There will be a scannable QR code on your notice of value card. Just scan it, and you will go to your property page, where you can see what we did and how much the value is there. It is also on your card as well, but you can see more details when you go to your web. Also would be taking appeals from May 1st to June 8th. If there is any community inside Arapahoe County which has challenged to the assessor's office, please let us know. We will reach out to the community or even a single individual. We want to make sure that everyone in this county has access to assessors. Do not hesitate if you have any questions. Also, we are from
Assessor, we're having, you're really kind of coming in and out. We're having a hard time hearing you. So I think we'll go to questions. You might try calling back in, and we'll see if we can get a better connection for you. And with that, I think we are at the Q&A time. We appreciate everyone queuing up. Again, you can still get in line. And we're going to go to our first question, and that is Tom. Go ahead, Tom. You're live.
Hi there. I just wanted to know if any of the commissioners know what's going on regarding Parker Road. It's about a mile south of Arapahoe Road. It looks like they're building some type of an overpass.
Yes. Thank you for that, Tom. Yeah. This is Commissioner Baker. And I heard your question, and we've been getting a lot of questions about that. That is for the High Plains Trail Connector Project. That's a $5.2 million multimodal project. Began back in April of 2022. It's expected to be completed sometime in 2023. I think the plans for that to be completed had to be delayed a little bit because of the supply chain issues that we're seeing. When it's completed, this will connect a number of different trails and provide a very safe crossing for bicycles and pedestrians crossing Parker Road. And it is part of the High Plains Trail network, but also the Cherry Creek Trail will be going in there. So again, that's another one of those projects that we were able to partner with Town of Parker, City of Aurora is, I believe, a partner in that, Arapahoe County, Douglas County, and we obtained funds for that through Dr. Cog. So I hope that answers your question. It's going to be a great project when it's completed. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Commissioner. Betty is next. Go ahead with your question.
Are there any plans to better availability of public transportation to the areas beyond the 1 mile radius of the light rail stations?
Brian, would you like to take that one?
Yes, thank you, Roger. And Betty, thank you very much for asking that question. I'm Brian Weimer, Public Works Director for Arapahoe County. There are 2 plans, and one of them is completed. The 2040 transportation plan identified various improvements, but we're excited to get started with another study this year that will go into a little more depth as to transit and micromobility, and it will be a county-wide study. As we begin that study, probably around latter end of the first quarter, we'll have public involvement and information that we'll share and obtain feedback on our plans, what we're looking at, and we'll be working with our cities as well as unincorporated areas. So we're really excited to get started with that plan, and I think that would address your concerns directly that you mentioned earlier about that last mile and first mile for transit availability. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Here's a question that came in online that you also may want to answer. It came from Chantal. She asks, I live in Talon's Reach and have been concerned that oil and gas companies are telling us we do not have the right to refuse fracking in our residential neighborhoods. We are concerned about cleanliness of water, potential for earthquakes, etc. What can we do?
Okay, so yes, we're starting to hear about this proposal, and right now no applications have been submitted to Arapahoe County. The process is that the oil and gas company will need to go through the COGCC's comprehensive area plan process, and with that then, and I really encourage you all to be involved with that process. Once that is done, then applications will be submitted to Arapahoe County. The oil and gas provider is responsible for having neighborhood meetings, and we will have a 30-day comment period of which we'll take all comments associated with the applications. We do have a fact sheet on our website, so if you go to www.arapahoegov.com, go to the Public Works Department, and then oil and gas, you'll be able to navigate to that fact sheet. And we spell out all those things that I talked about and many more as part of the oil and gas process, and in particular, what's being proposed near the Talon's Reach neighborhoods. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right, let's hear from Mandy next. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. My question is about what the county is doing for the unhoused population, especially when it comes to the extreme cold weather that we have been having. Are there any cold weather shelter emergency plans in place?
Kathy Smith, you want to handle that?
Yes, I'm happy to. Thank you, Roger. So thank you, Mandy. This is really a great question, as keeping our unhoused population safe during the cold weather is a top priority for us also. So my name is Kathy Smith. I'm the Community Resources Director for Arapahoe County. In relation to the cold weather, we currently fund the Cold Weather Shelter Network that provides shelter and warming stations during cold weather. In addition, we partner with our municipalities and our service providers to expand our sheltering services during those instances also, oftentimes utilizing our providers for hotel motels if the cold weather shelter network is full. In regards to our larger plans related to homeless services, as a county, we're continuing to finalize our strategic plan in this area through the creation of our Homeless Coordinating Committee. That committee really is over 100 members representing 50 different partner agencies, including our municipalities, our service providers, nonprofits, schools, faith-based agencies, and more, to really create a regional approach to this issue. So also through our one-time federal funding, Arapahoe County has been able to pilot several programs that address homelessness to include emergency rental assistance payments, housing navigation services, and eviction legal support. We're also really excited because over the last 2 years, we've entered into partnerships with some of our municipalities, specifically the Tri-Cities and Centennial, to create positions that are housed with the county to specifically address the homeless needs in those specific communities. And we also partner really closely with Aurora at Home to work together with Aurora on addressing the needs in our community as a whole. Lastly, our Board of County Commissioners has allocated one-time ARPA funding to increase our workforce housing and other shelter services in Arapahoe County in partnership, again, with our municipalities and state partners. And so be looking for more of those projects coming into the near future as we finalize those details. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Great question so far. Let's hear from Greg next. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is there an ability to require that formal noise abatement be adhered to at Centennial Airport? And if possible, please describe the procedure to obtain that noise abatement.
Commissioner, would you like to take that?
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell-Swanson.
Yes, thank you, Greg, for that question. We actually have quite a few online questions that have come through online about the airport as well. So I'm going to try to give one solid answer that addresses everybody's questions. So for those that don't know, Centennial Airport has operated in the middle of Centennial since 1968. They had a mid-air collision, I think the first out of 16 million flights, in the summer of 2021 or May of 2021. In response to that, the FAA, whose job it is to keep our skies safe, changed the landing pattern from a parallel landing pattern to a staggered landing pattern. That then forced flights, as opposed to staying south of Arapahoe, to north of Arapahoe. And those flights happen to be mostly flight schools that are running prop planes that use leaded gas. So our constituents in that area north of Arapahoe are concerned, and they are asking questions and have been raising concerns about both the leaded gas now going over their neighborhoods, as well as the flight pattern of these prop planes, these training flight planes that are very loud. So we have both a noise and a lead issue. To address the noise, that is honestly, the staggered landing issue is an FAA issue. And so ideally, we can get them to change back to a non-staggered or to a parallel landing pattern. We have not even had our first meeting yet as a airport authority up for this year. And so I am not 100% sure where the whole board is on all of that and where we need to work with the FAA. I know the FAA has been approached by the Centennial Airport folks, by community, by our noise roundtable. Yes, I think one question specifically said, is Arapahoe County aware? We are very aware of the issue. And I, for one, look forward to working with our board to continue to engage the FAA. If for whatever reason that process doesn't work and pulling in our federal partners and our statewide partners doesn't work, then we can look at a formal noise abatement. Being just the baby commissioner that I am, I hope you don't mind, I am not 100% sure about the entire process around that, but that is something that we have brought up in meetings, and we'll be digging in, our attorney's office will be digging into that as we move through this process. The leaded fuel issue is the EPA has actually just made a proposed finding that leaded fuel is a danger to public health and safety. We did not participate in the most recent comment period, but we are engaging in the work around that, and that also our department and legal department are looking into how we can engage in that process going forward. So, but we are also working with the airport to how we can expedite the arrival of a recently approved not unleaded gas that would work for these prop planes and these flight schools, so that even if as we are working on the noise process, hopefully we can get some unleaded gas into those planes so that we can make sure that those aren't impacting our residents. So long story short, there's kind of two processes that we're going through. I know our noise roundtable is engaged, and we'll be working on that, as well as partnering with our municipal partners in Greenwood Village and Centennial. But this is hopefully we can get the FAA to make a change, but we will be exploring all the angles either way. And I look forward to continuing to engage in this, and I am absolutely aware of the pain and suffering that the flights are causing on the community. And as I said in my intro, it's a priority for me that y'all don't have to deal with that any longer than hopefully you already have. You know, I know it's been hard, so we'll work on it. All right, thank you.
Commissioner, thank you very much. Let's go to a question that was submitted on Facebook for Sheriff Brown. Sandy asks, Aurora took steps municipally to help with the auto theft problem in their city by increasing penalties for those crimes. What is the county doing to proactively prevent crimes? Are more deputies being added? Sheriff?
Sandy, that is a great question. I did assist Aurora with supporting that initiative to address auto thefts and the impact that it's having on our community. One of the things that we've done over the last 18 months is that we have created a specialized unit, our special response team, that has the ability to work with our ComStat process, which is the analysis of crimes in a specific geographical area within our service area. And they have the ability to not respond to radio calls, but actually get in and do some directed enforcement inside of those areas. And we've seen a great impact on auto thefts in that area. You know, per capita, we are one of the lowest areas for auto theft. We do have, there are parts of Aurora that are in Arapahoe County, but our auto theft is at a much lower rate than those surrounding areas. I'm also working with legislators at the state and the governor's office to make sure that we're addressing those issues as they arise. And one specific example of that special response team is that we were able to contact I believe it was 5 individuals, all juveniles, in a stolen car that was stolen out of Denver. And we were able to get drugs off of the street. And we are working with the district attorney's office on how we move forward with holding these individuals accountable, but also making sure that we give them the resources they need not to return to criminal acts. So we are taking a multitude of steps, and it's going to take a lot of different approaches to get this situation under control.
Thank you, Sheriff. Let's go to Diana next. Go ahead with your question.
Did you say Diana?
I sure did. You're live. Go ahead.
Hey, good. I just have a comment and a question for Joan Lopez. Excuse me. I volunteered for one of our candidates for election, and I was given a battery of voter rolls for my precinct. And what I discovered after looking at property records is that there were 7 or 8 or more people registered voters at the same address. And I looked on property records, and it showed this couple sold to that couple, and that couple sold to that couple. And I'm just wondering, and I have a question for Joan Lopez, if her department plans on cleaning our voter rolls.
Bill, do you want to take that on Joan's behalf?
Absolutely. Thank you, Diana. This is Bill Mast. I'm the Voter Services Manager here in Arapahoe County. So it's my department that does take care of those kinds of activities. And you'd be surprised. We do these kinds of things on a daily basis. So we do have quite a few rules that we do have to follow while maintaining our voter rolls. But some of the things that we do that help us to maintain clean voter rolls and try and keep up with our voters as they move from different locations throughout their lives are automatic voter registration. So like when folks go and get their driver's license updates, we get that information and are automatically able to move them. As they update their records, say they move to another part of the community and update their information with the Postal Service, we get notifications of that through the U.S. Postal Service through a national change of address system that we subscribe to. And so we update those on a near constant basis. So there are things that occur as folks are moving around. If they move out of state, it does take a little while for us to get that information. Once they move out of state, they update their registration with their new homes, and that information travels through their new state's systems to Colorado and then down to us. And so it may take a little while for that information to get here. One of the things that we do well in Colorado, though, is that if we have a voter who's registered at an address and they no longer are voting there, we send mail and it gets sent back to us as undeliverable. We send them correspondence to try and get them, but we also make them inactive. So we don't send ballots to those folks who are no longer voters. They might be registered, but they aren't an active voter. So again, Diana, thank you for the question. I hope that adds some clarity to it.
Bill, thank you very much. Here's a question that came in online from Shelley. She asked, regarding XL's high voltage power line project, has an application been submitted yet? I understand it is going to cut across the county. What effect will it have on the property owners nearby the line? Brian, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I can. Thank you, Shelley, for that question. And again, I'm Brian Weimer, Public Works and Development Director. Yes, you can find out a lot of information, and I'll tell you what that website is because they have Excel actually has a website for that. It's www.coloradopowerpathway, all one word, .com, and it'll go through a lot of the information that you'll be asking and showing alignments. At this point, we have not received an application for the proposal through Arapahoe County. Currently, they're working through Cheyenne County, Kiowa County, Kit Carson, Morgan, and Washington County. We're anticipating that we'll receive something in 2023. Don't have a date or a time frame associated with that yet. And what they'll have to go through once it's submitted is a 1041 or area of state interest process and a location and extent process, all of which are a public process, and we'll be evaluating what the impacts are based on their alignment that they choose, as well as obtaining public comment as part of those processes. So with that, stay tuned, keep checking our website, or you can always call our department at 720-874-6500, and we can give you updates. But at this point, we have not received any application. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where we stand with the process, and more to come as it's submitted. So thank you.
All right, let's hear from Fred next. Fred, go ahead.
Yes, hello. As I drive around Arapahoe County, and that's every time I drive. I notice there's an inordinate amount of expired car registrations, many that are over a year old. So I believe the county's losing a lot of money on registrations, and I'm also concerned about the liability, because if people don't have valid registrations, they probably don't have car insurance either. So is there anything being done to enforce that?
Yes, that's a great question. And this is Sheriff Brown. I'll take the first part of this and see if there's anything that the clerk's office wants to add. We do have a traffic unit that is out enforcing those. We write a good amount of tickets on those. The one thing, too, that you see is that just because there's expired tags does not automatically assume you don't need valid registration to get car insurance. But the one thing that the county is able to do is that once that is taken care of, or once they show up to pay their registration fee, they are charged that back fee for the previous year. So we're not missing out at this point. We are just taking it on, but we are addressing those as they come up, and it is one of the priorities of our traffic team to be out there to enforce that.
All right, Linda's next. Linda, what's your question?
My question is about growth and the fact that we're under a drought. I look at all the new construction going up in Arapahoe County, and the local residents don't have water. How are we granting permits to have builders come in with either homes or apartments or whatever when the locals don't even have the water? The two have to go together. And then our infrastructure is so busy anymore, it's like living on Colorado Boulevard if you go down Arapahoe Road.
Mr. Campbell-Swanson, do you want to start with that?
Yes, thanks, Roger. Linda, that is an absolutely great point and great question. So I'll speak to kind of broadly. So number one, Commissioner Baker, or I think it was Commissioner Baker, referenced earlier our water study. It's the first one we've done in 2 decades. It's going to take about a year. They're getting that kicked off. That will be imperative to the findings from that will be imperative to how we grow sustainably from here, and will let us know the level of urgency that we have to then that we're operating in, and will address things. There are a lot of ideas, a lot of ways that we can do that, but based on kind of the findings of that report and that study will direct a lot of our activity. But I think you're hitting the nail on the head of the connection between our growth, transportation, development, all of that, and it's a huge. We're looking at it, and I want to pitch it to Director Weimer to kind of give a couple more details there. But you hit the nail on the head, Linda, and it's definitely a challenge. And if we tackle it the right way, we can address all those things.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, Brian Weimer, and thank you, Linda, for those questions. As part of our land development process, applicants must show that they have enough water resources to support their proposal. Currently, the state law requires a 100-year water supply. The county, based on the last study that we had and our policies, have a 200-year water supply. And as Commissioner mentioned, we are kicking off a study this month, actually. And as part of that study, we're looking out till 2025. And with that is looking at a recommendation of a 300-year water supply. And so that study will have public involvement and is planned to be completed in 2024. So we're really addressing that issue, and we're working with our water and sanitation districts as well as the groundwater that many of our rural communities are utilizing. So stay tuned and be involved. We'd like to hear your feedback.
All right, let's go to Sean now. Sean, go ahead.
Board and city officials or county officials. I just want to acknowledge the importance of maintaining and operating the dad's landfill, but do you guys have any plans to like introduce recycling provisions, or even like thinking about like compost in the future? That's my question.
I'll take that. That's a wonderful, wonderful question, Sean. Thank you. This is Commissioner Leslie Summey. And so currently what we have in Arapahoe County is your recycling is contracted through the private service providers. And so I'm not sure what all of the contracted services that each resident chooses to use. Not sure where they are with composting. However, I'm a new commissioner and excited about doing the work, and I would love to explore the opportunities to ensure sustainability and to respond to resident need. Very creative ideas are out there in the world, and we could bring those ideas to Arapahoe County, but let's explore that. But right now, I would say you'd have to contact your service provider to see what they're doing in the future, but moving forward, certainly keep in touch so we can see what ideas are out there and what we can possibly implement here.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. We've got time for one more question. Let's hear from Kay. Go ahead, Kay.
Oh, I'd like to know what the Arapahoe County Sheriff is, how many times they practice for a mass shooting and working with other agencies.
Kay, that is a great question, and we prepare pretty regularly when it comes to that. We have also partnerships with school districts, and our community resource team goes out and provides active threat training not only to community groups, but businesses in the community as well. All of our officers go through some sort of medical training as well, and so if those situations do occur, we have the ability and the training to work with our partners, local and federal, with that, and we have the ability to respond very quickly in those situations. So this is something that we take very seriously and we train on frequently to make sure that we have adequate response times and the equipment to respond to those situations.
All right, Commissioner Warren Gully, do you want to wrap us up for the evening?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I just want to thank you all again for joining us this evening. We had incredible questions, great questions, and a real diversity of questions, so we appreciate that. I know we didn't get to everyone, but please know that we will be having other calls in the future that you can join us on, and we can try to answer questions at that time. So thank you for joining us, and I also want to thank our county-wide fellow colleagues and other elected officials. We as county commissioners are very much looking forward to working together and building a team that serves our residents to the best of our ability and gives a wonderful quality of life for the folks that live, play, and work here. So Roger, why don't I hand it back to you and you can close us out.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Again, thank you all for joining us tonight on behalf of your elected officials and the staff with us tonight. If you did not get a chance to ask your question, you can stay on the line and leave a voice message at the end of the call. And if you ever need to reach your elected officials, always visit our website at arapahoegov.com. Again, thank you very much and have a great evening.